So this month, I had the goal of catching up on a brand new manga. Not this one or this one, definitely not this one. Probably should have chosen this one in all honesty. But instead, I landed on Kagurabachi. Why? Why did I do that? Well, we're gonna get into it. First, hello everyone, and welcome to What I Read This Month, September edition. I started off the month with reading Goodnight Pun Pun. This is a series I've actually already read and completed prior to this month. So going into this, I felt like I already knew what to expect. Surprisingly, I was wrong. This manga isn't for everyone. The story might start off very cute and wholesome. Oh my god, wow, look, the main character is a bird. But the more you read, the more pages you turn, the more the story peels back the layers and shows you the real story it's trying to tell you. I'm not gonna get into it fully because of spoiler reasons, but just know this manga takes some very dark turns. I didn't read the whole thing, by the way. I only read the first 50 chapters with my channel members on our monthly manga club. Last month they voted for us to read Monster. This month, Goodnight Pun Pun. I think they just want us to suffer. Joke's on them. I'm really glad we read this month because there's a lot of little details in the first 50 chapters that I personally missed my first time reading the story. I saw a lot of characters in a completely different light. Why? Because I knew their story. I knew the direction their characters were gonna go in. I knew why they did the things that they did. I know what in their past caused them to think the way that they do. I just felt like I had a better understanding of why these characters felt compelled to take the actions that they did take in the story, which before, on my first read through, I just felt like everybody was fucking weird. Like, I didn't understand why people were doing the things that they did, especially in chapter 50. Oh my god. Because at the end of the day, this is a story about people and their thoughts, their upbringing, the people in their world and how it affects them, and just what the world in general can do to an individual. This manga is just a super interesting and well-written character study. I really like it. Also, a lot of these scenes hit me a bit harder now. Like, I have a better understanding of them, and I think that's because I'm a bit older now. This manga in general is a really good read, but it is not for everyone. The last half of the story is still kind of a head scratcher for me, I'm gonna be honest. Somewhere along the journey, I started feeling myself very disconnected from the characters of Goodnight Pun Pun. And that's just because I haven't experienced the things that these characters go through. So on a psychological level, I don't fully understand why they're making the choices that they make. So to me, the characters and their actions, it just feels very jarring. But that's just because I haven't experienced that. Like, I don't know what it's like. But that doesn't take away from the overall experience of the story for me. Go read it, but like, be careful when you read it, okay? And also, if anyone asks, I'm not the one that recommended it to you. I don't want the credit. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, Shonen Jump, they might just be in trouble, okay? Well, maybe. I don't know. I guess. My Hero Academia has ended. Demon Slayer has been done, and Jujutsu Kaisen just released its final chapter. And I was just sitting here thinking, what's next? You know, like, what's the next big thing gonna be? Dandadan? I mean, this anime is about to come out in a couple of days, which, now that I think about it, I probably should have read Dandadan this month. That might have been a giant mess up on my part. But Kagurabachi was the manga I felt compelled to read because this was the manga that everybody clowned on. Back when the first chapter came out, everybody thought that this manga just looked like a generic sword fighter shonen manga. Me included. I only ever read the first chapter, and I just personally wasn't interested enough to keep going. The story centers itself around our main character, Chihiro. He lives a pretty peaceful life with his father, who is a dude who is just really good at making swords. Chihiro's father has actually made some of the strongest enchanted blades ever. Like 6 of them, to be exact. But then he got murdered, and all 6 of them got stolen. Now it's been 3 years since his father's death, and Chihiro is on a mission to avenge his father and steal back the 6 enchanted swords. How's he gonna do that? Well, in his arsenal, he has the secret 7th enchanted sword. Oh my god! What? That's crazy. There were 7 of them this whole time? It wasn't just 6? Look, I don't know, okay. The premise, it didn't sound that cool. So why did I decide to get caught up? Well, apparently because the series got good, and I just want to come out and say it. It's true. The series is really good. So I started my journey, sat down, reread the first chapter again, and I thought, okay, yeah. I do think that one thing that turns me off about this series is the art style. I just kind of don't like how this looks. But hey, that shouldn't stop you, because listen, when the mangaka wants to make really fire panels, he can make really fire panels. Some of these panels are genuinely really awesome, and I found myself really excited whenever I saw another panel with a fish on it. You'll understand when you read the story. The manga just recently wrapped up its 2nd arc and is now laying down the groundwork for its 3rd one. Without spoiling anything, I just want to talk about why I agree with the statement that Kagurabachi is going to be the next big thing. Number 1, this manga knows how to make a really badass moment. It's mainly because of how it sets up its battle sequences and establishes its paneling. Classic shonen stories will have our battles from the main character's perspective. But this manga likes to switch it up a little bit and show the beginning of the battle from the villain's perspective. Like, sometimes we'll just get a panel or two about goons talking to one another, and then all of a sudden they look down an alleyway and there he is. staring. And it's like really menacing, really cool. The best thing I could compare it to is like when Batman appears. I just compared the main character of Kagurabachi to Batman. Okay, I mean, I guess. No, that is very wrong. Number 2, I also just really like the characters, surprisingly. I mean, I don't think any one of them has enough charm or charisma to really carry the series. Like, I don't have a favorite, but they're all pretty decently well written and they're fun to follow. Then number 3, the 2 arcs that have already been written are genuinely just really good. Okay, actually, the first one is pretty simple with a couple of badass moments sprinkled in here and there. But the second arc, oh my god, that one is fire. The second arc is like if Demon Slayer and Hunter x Hunter had a baby, which I know is like a really weird way in describing this arc. For some reason, in my brain, it just makes sense to me. The second arc just has a really good setup, it's really well paced, and it just has some awesome fight scenes. One thing I genuinely really do appreciate about this manga is it doesn't waste your time. Stuff is constantly happening. You might be able to argue that too much stuff is happening. I didn't personally mind it because it just helped me from not feeling bored when binging this entire series. Do I think the manga so far is perfect or one of my favorite things ever written? No. No, it's not. Far from it. But it has a lot going for it, and I'm really excited to see where it's going to go. The next polls for the movie, anime, and manga club are currently out for my channel members. All the media we're consuming this month is going to be spooky themed for October. So sign up for Teniz Town, cast your votes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and go watch some of my other videos. Goodbye, guys.